Well, thanks to the results last season, GALA have earned a place in the British and Irish Cup. They kick off their campaign at Netherdale in front of their home crowd, their opponents, London Scottish. But the two sides have met before. They've met in the 50s, the 70s and the 90s in the last century. And the records stand GALA 2 wins to London Scottish 1. Let's see what happens today.
GALA have been waiting a long time for this, a shot at the British and Irish Cup, and coach George Graham promised his team that he would reward them for their efforts last year in qualifying for this competition by resisting the temptation of bringing in a bunch of pros to strengthen the squad. And he was true to his word. All players selected for this game have been regulars at GALA since the start of the season. London Scottish rested some of their regulars for this game, but it was still packed with quality pros, including Canadian international Tyler Hodgson at lock and Scottish international fly half Phil Godman. And the game started off at a tremendous pace, both sides happy to throw the ball about. Former Edinburgh pro Ross Sampson was at scrum half, and look out for Samoan-born centre PJ Gidlow, who was to cause problems all afternoon for the GALA defence. London Scottish have produced over 200 Scottish internationalists in its history and are now making their way back into the top flight of English rugby, having recently been promoted to the Championship, where they're currently playing against the likes of Newcastle Falcons and Leeds Carnegie. Former Glasgow and Edinburgh centre Dave McCall was out to stamp his authority early on and brought fullback James Love into the game, but a loose ball gave GALA an opportunity to counter-attack, Ewan Dodds kicking on here. Phil Godman back to cover, but James King got his foot to it and Chris Auld took on McCall to get to the ball first. This was GALA's first opportunity in the match, and with support from former Samoan international and now GALA skipper Apita Palapoi, the Maroons kept possession. Clean ball this time from George Graham to Lee Miller, and out to Gary Graham, who took the ball into contact. GALA recycled again, out to Miller. James King only half held and getting over the gain line. Even better for the home side, they won a penalty. Irish referee Eddie O'Connell penalising Scottish, and GALA with a chance to take the lead. Lee Miller is a prolific kicker, already into triple figures this season, and from 35 metres out stroked the ball between the tallest posts in Scotland, giving GALA a 3-point lead. And they did even better a few minutes later. Ewan Dodds playing scrum half to Miller, James King well tackled by McCall, but Craig Robertson supporting him and wriggling his way deeper into London Scottish territory. George Graham slipping on the greasy surface, but getting to the ball and passing out to Ewan Dodds, who drew two defenders before passing to Grant Somerville. Somerville still had work to do, but went outside Love to run in for the opening try of the game. GALA's number 8 Dodds popping up everywhere during a game and is one of the top try scorers in the Borders. He did well to get the ball out to former Curry and Watsonians winger Somerville, and he went over for his first try of the season. Miller added the extras with a fine conversion, and with just 9 minutes on the clock, it was the perfect start for GALA. The confidence was building, and Dodds winning clean ball from this line out. Along the back line again, Auld looking for support, and off his wing came Craig Robertson, always looking for work. Lee Miller over the gain line and more positive moves forward, with Palapoi getting closer to the Scottish 22. Back left again, Graham to Miller, missing out King to Ewan Dodds, and another phase of play by the Maroons. London Scottish defending well though, keeping GALA out of their 22 and winning a penalty to relieve the pressure. Scottish lost their own line out and the ball went back to Craig Robertson. Big kick from him, sending it into the opponent's half, and London Scottish happy to run the ball from anywhere. Fullback Love giving McCall a chance to run out of defence, but well tackled by Chris Auld. Sampson recycling to Phil Godman, and Godman passing to the very pacey Miles Mantella, who saw a gap in the GALA defence and powered his way through. Gary Graham getting back to defend, but Scottish gaining ground. Sampson switched to Godman on the right, but his pass to Sam Toomey went into touch. On 80 minutes, Love gave Scottish their first points of the match with a penalty, but a couple of minutes later Andy McLean started another GALA move. The remarkable Dodds always in support and Robertson hacking the ball on for George Graham to chase. Although Love was back to cover, Graham put pressure on him and his clearance kick only just went into touch, although GALA didn't capitalise from the resulting throw-in. On 20 minutes we saw the best try of the game, and with Gidlow taking the ball at pace, a defensive position was turned quickly into attack. Gidlow went between Miller and King, slipped the ball on halfway to Miles Mantella, who had enough gas to beat Robertson to the try line. And when the referee finally caught up with the action, he awarded the try. Let's look at that again. Gidlow, a big strong runner, bursting through and handing off George Graham. Great support from Mantella, and after giving the scoring pass he stayed close to his wingman just in case he was needed, but a good try which brought the visitors to within 2 points. GALA went looking for another try themselves and they weren't far away from getting one. Graham feeding Miller, James King jinking past Ben Lonergan and Marcus Bloomberg before being stopped by a Sampson-Love combo. Callum McIntosh and Luke Petty were up quick to get the ball back to Stevie Cairns and then Palapoy, but the pass from George Graham to Petty didn't go to hand and the chance was gone. Chris Weir was yellow carded for a professional foul, and that gave Scottish a big advantage up front. They turned up the gas, drove GALA back. It wasn't pretty, but it was very effective, and Willie Lipp grounded the ball at the bottom of this pile of bodies. Not long after, in the same position, veteran prop Colin Quigley picked up the ball and scored another try in the space of a few minutes. James Love converted, and London Scottish had turned round a 10-0 deficit to lead 20-10 at the break. Into the second half, and a loose pass from Scottish gave the lurking Ewan Dodds an opportunity to carry some ball. Chris Hall took it on, and there was Craig Robertson outside to chip ahead. And play suddenly was back in the London Scottish 22. Once there, GALA patiently waited for a chance to drive over the line, and how many times have we seen this kind of try from the Maroons? Peter Palapoy getting the score, and the conversion from wide out right on the money for Miller, and GALA back in the match. The Border side soon found themselves back in a good attacking position. Replacement hooker Russell Anderson taking the ball into contact, Graham to Petty, Steve Cairns in support, and Palapoy looking for his second try. But look out for number 11 Craig Robertson ripping the ball clear and going over for the try which put GALA back in front. It gave Lee Miller another opportunity to display his amazing kicking talents from the touchline, and the moment he struck the ball, he knew it was going right between the posts. Still plenty of time left in the game, and it was anyone's guess what the outcome would be in what was turning out to be a bit of a roller coaster. For the neutrals, it was a thriller with both teams playing attacking rugby and both defences putting in a big shift. London Scottish were still looking for their first away win of the season, but they knew they'd need to up the ante if they were going to get that elusive victory. Phil Godman saw a gap at the back and chipped through, hoping that either Love or Mantella would run in to score, but Robertson was alert and got back in time to defuse the danger. Then Toomey was brought into the action, Palapoy taking him to ground, but the referee penalised GALA for killing the ball and gave London Scottish a kickable penalty. Up stepped Love, and this time the Raider was on, and GALA's lead was cut to just 1 point. The remainder of the match was going to be tense, and the GALA pack were certainly matching the visitors up front, wheeling the scrum successfully on several occasions and putting pressure on. James Love banged the ball out of his own 22 straight into the arms of Craig Dodds. And he returned the ball with an intelligent kick which Richard Bolt found hard to deal with. Pressure from Dodds and Craig Keddy, and Gary Graham getting in on the action. With time running out, GALA were getting into position to give Lee Miller a chance to pop over a drop goal. By now Danny Owenson was on at scrum half, and he knew exactly what was required. Miller received the ball just outside the 22, and as cool as a cucumber slotted the kick over the bar, and the 4-point gap was restored. As we moved into injury time, all the pressure was on GALA as London Scottish pushed for the try which would win the game. They got themselves into the best position, drove GALA backwards, but crucially they lost control on the line. But a penalty was awarded and Scottish opted for another scrum. But GALA wheeled their opponents and won a defensive scrum, something which frustrated the Exiles, and a bout of fisticuffs broke out. The assistant referee stepped in, advised the referee toward a penalty, and it went to GALA. The last chance for Scottish had gone, and when time was up, Owenson blasted the ball into the stand, and GALA had held on for a memorable victory, winning their first match in the British and Irish Cup.
Dancer.
Many congratulations, George. You're a happy man today, I can see. That was a great work.
That was absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's up there with winning the final last year. I thought the character and the determination and just the dogginess that the boys showed this afternoon was absolutely fantastic. I put it to them last Tuesday that we need to, when you come off this field, I wanted to ask yourself, where do you stand in the grand scheme of things? I think they've answered me emphatically. I think we lived with them, and at times more than lived with them. Great bunch of boys.
Yeah, no, fair play to GALA. They stuck in. End of the first half, we finished strongly, and then second half got tried just allowed just up there. It was a game-changing moment. But no, fair play to GALA. They stuck in, and it was an enjoyable game. Enjoyed being back here, and yeah, it was good. The crowd were vocal as well. So yeah, it was an enjoyable game. Just a pity we didn't get the right result in the end.
1-22 played out their skins today, and I think nobody put a foot wrong. First half we started well, got a bit shaky, and then just came back and just went for there and just grew and grew and grew and managed to grind out a good win in the end. So.
We had our opportunities, but it was always the same. I said this morning in the team meeting, I feel like a border team even have a sniff. They're going to be in it the whole game. They're going to be fired up and stuff. Like the Scottish teams and stuff take this really serious and stuff, and we've let ourselves down, to be fair. We came up here to do a job and we've not done that.
A wee bit dodgy at half time, obviously, a few words with them, I'm sure, just to sort of sharpen the focus again.
Normally a bit choice words, it tends to work with these boys. I've been trying for 4 years to get out of that, but I think they're used to it, so I try not to disappoint them and dish it out a wee bit. But it's great. We just ironed out a few things we were doing. We were putting far too many people in the breakdown, which was exposing us out a wee bit wide, so we just discussed that with them and told them to just not, in their ball, have a go at the breakdown. But if it wasn't on, then just fan out and defend. And it worked a wee bit in the second half, and really, really pleased with the result.